Welcome back to another episode of the Association Spotlight Series. I'm Lake Morehouse. Today, we're joined by two special guests. We have Crystal and Chris with us here from Mountain Care Network.
Yep.
Guys, thanks so much for coming up to see us and just having a little chat with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you guys. So just for our listeners and our viewers on YouTube, just kind of give you all a little bit of an introduction of what Mountain Care Network is, what your all's role is, and kind of how everything came to light and your all's background a bit.
Yeah. You want to take it?
Sure. Mountain Care Network is a licensed behavioral health center. We started in Kanawha County. We primarily focus on mental health, therapy, counseling. That's pretty much what we specialize in. All ages, all populations, all mental health disorders.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of stay right in that lane pretty much and just do the best we can in those areas.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly what she said. I think we just try to meet people's needs. I mean, I feel like we take innovative approaches to things. We aren't defined just by a single box about what people say you traditionally can do to help folks in particular demographics or areas. I mean, for us, it's really about we see a problem. We bring our leadership team together to try and figure out solutions based upon, what's available in our state. And then we go from there. So I do think that's maybe I guess a differentiator from us being a little bit kind of smaller.
Yeah, absolutely. And much needed. We, again, it takes all shapes and sizes, approaches, and strategies for sure. So if you all could talk a little bit about your all's journey to Mountain Care Network and getting that established and your all's relationship as well. I think everybody would be curious. This is our first ever two-person guest on the podcast too, so we're excited to have you guys. It's a new one
and
for
we're
us.
Married. I mean, we're
right.
2 kids.
Yeah,
So
which is great. That's a cool, unique part of it. So yeah.
I would say it was kind of just divine intervention, really. I'm a social worker and he's a business guy. And, we met and I was always the helper of people and he was kind of the big ideas guy. And we left the state of West Virginia actually for about 5 years, lived in Raleigh, North Carolina, got some great experience. He worked with NC State doing development and fundraising. And I worked for a pretty large mental health agency that kind of mimics a little bit of what we do. Very community-based mental health in the streets, helping people, basic needs all the way up to, mental health disorders. And we, about 5 years later, kind of decided we need to go back to West Virginia. We want to go home. And we both were kind of like, well, we have the partnership and the tools to do our own thing. So Chris really took the reins and getting everything started, all the business components of paperwork and things, while I built a caseload.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and I think we also, just to completely agree with what Chris said, like we consider this to be like our ministry, our calling, and it really is for us divine. We had these kids and we had this family built. We had a really nice life in North Carolina built, but I do think there's something about like getting back to your roots, right? Like being my brother's keeper, remembering where we came from and realizing like we can have these amazing experiences abroad and build a really good life, but what is that doing to help others? And so for us, that's what we wanted to get back to. I also, I do have, a background, if you will, in addiction and recovery and substance use. And so for me, it was really about, I kept having friends die, right? And that really did kind of pull, I think, even further, not just grandparents, not just being close to family, but like a purpose and a passion, pulling us back to figure out like, how can we help solve some of these issues? And 6-7 years later, here we are.
Yeah, it's almost like a calling in ways. So that was going to be my next question. What year you all established here? Was it 6 or 7 years ago, Mountain Care?
19.
19?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we
2019.
Yep.
Before COVID.
We incorporated in 19. I remember it was so exciting because we incorporated like June of 19. Didn't have any clients. We were, it was unique because I was still working in Raleigh and at NC State, which was awesome. And she was, like she said, building a caseload, and we had these 2 kiddos. And so she would travel back in the week, like on a Sunday night, helping folks here throughout the week, and either we would come up or she would come back. And so it got to a point to where it kind of expanded and grew, and we were like, look, we just have to completely.
I remember calling you like, I can't come back.
Yeah, because
I have more client. There's people that
it was starting to grow, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you, it was not a difficult decision, but it's been, again, one of the greatest blessings of our lives.
Constantly visiting family and kind of seeing our state need help, and Raleigh was great, but there are an abundance of resources down there.
Of course,
in West Virginia, there aren't as many resources, and we felt like we had, some things that we could bring back. And, I think had we not left West Virginia, we wouldn't have necessarily had and gained the experience that we did.
Without a doubt.
Sure.
The agency that I worked at, it was called Carolina Outreach. And I mean, gosh, it was amazing. It was amazing to see just that side of how mental health was done in a different state.
Yeah, it just almost kind of changes your perception, and you can take off those glasses, if you will,
without
and kind of see it from it. If not, like you said, if you would have stayed, you're not. You can't kind of differentiate and see the contrast.
We wouldn't have even probably considered community-based.
No. Well, and I think there's a big piece to this too, about like understanding, like in North Carolina, you have a certain type of client, right? And it's different, like, especially Raleigh, because it was less rural. But the more you got outside of Raleigh in the eastern parts of the county and in the state, really, you would begin to see different problems for different folks. And I also think that diversity of experience, specifically for Crystal, and certainly, from a business perspective, like seeing that, it has lended itself really well to us being able to not create a one-size-fits-all model.
Right.
For us, we understand, like, people in Boone, they are facing different things than people in Kanawha County, and people in Putnam County are facing different things than people in, Cabell County. And for us, we get the opportunity to, like, put teams together in each of those areas to address them individually. And that's one of the things I think we did bring from North Carolina.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, that's great. And it's certainly needed too. So just kind of touching on that a little bit. So, being you all, such a unique journey, and it sounds like the beginning of it was really tough. I mean, in terms of logistically, you guys being in separate places, that's hard to do. And you all did it, which is awesome, and a unique, story of how this kind of all happened. But what have you maybe, going in a little bit, you were familiar with the field as well, maybe Chris, not as much. What did you think, maybe some things that you thought, okay, this was online of what I kind of expected from, starting our own company here, versus what are some things you were totally surprised by and kind of had to catch up on the learning curve with some certain things? I mean, just probably a lot, of course, but some things that stick out to you of like, oh my gosh, okay, this is not quite what I thought it would be, or better, or,
I'll let you go from the point. Yeah.
I think for me, the biggest learning curve has been insurance.
Yeah, of course.
The
complexity of insurance. Oh my goodness.
So much to talk about with that.
Oh,
the ins and outs,
the weeds,
changes, the politics, the fees, the audits, it's a lot.
It's a beast.
Massive.
And we're pretty adamant about helping vulnerable populations, which means, taking state insurance.
Of course.
And state payers and stuff, which is really important to us.
It is.
But it also creates 10-foot hurdles.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So that was, I think, for me, the steepest learning curve. I'm all about let's just help them,
Yeah, it shouldn't be. Why is it this difficult? Like, why are they making this hard? Yeah, right.
Let's just do it. Let's help them, and but there is a component to it of like, well, you got to be able to keep the doors open.
Of course.
That to me was, I think, the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, reimbursements, insurance, I think are big things. I'll tell you, just the enormity of the problems, right? Like, I truly believe our state is, for me, the best state in America, right? Like, for me, I am a West Virginianist. Like, this is where I was born. This is where I was raised. This is where my mom and dad are from. And so I take offense when people look at our state and put us down.
Right.
But I also know we are a small state in population with some fairly big problems.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think the surprise was we can chip away at these,
mm-hmm.
right? And see progress. And
right.
that progress, even though it may be one client at a time, even though it may be one dad that we help in recovery or one mom that we help, find groceries, whatever it is, that has ripple effects. And so for me, it wasn't so much a learning curve as it was like enlightening to see like we sometimes try to take too big of a bite of the apple when in reality it is client by client, it is person by person, kid by kid, family by family, and that impact can change communities.
Right.
And we've seen that firsthand, and it's really for me been a blessing to be able to experience some of that.
Oh yeah, and that probably kind of parlays into I was going to ask some of the more rewarding things in your all 6-7 years. And I'm sure it's in that arena as well, but some things that just stick with you, like, man, some days I'm sure obviously very hard, very tough, like any field, but then there's days where you're like, man, this is so worth it, and this feels great.
Without a doubt.
Still gives us chills, I think, just thinking about some of the success stories, the families that we helped reunite, and the guys that we have in recovery that hit a year or 2 years or 3 years, and it's great.
Yeah, a lot of it probably feels a little bit like family in ways, right? Because you pour everything into it. You know?
Does. And our family is like, we've had to redefine what family looks like. Like for us, Mountain Care Network, we started as a family of 4 and 2 dogs. We are, I think now at 65, 64 full-time employees, right? And and I say that because for us, that is family to us. Right. Not only that, but we have 30 plus guys that we are helping in the recovery world, and those are our family. Like, we take a responsibility for the well-being and the happiness of everyone who decides to like come on board. Yeah. And for us, it's bigger than Chris and Crystal. It's bigger than the prices. Like, at this point, like, God is using, people that probably didn't think they would be used to change our state. And to me, like, man, that gets you pumped.
Oh, absolutely.
Giving people purpose and passion.
Yeah, it's so inspiring, and your all story is great, and you created a well-oiled machine. I mean, you did it. That's awesome. And I forgot to note as well, you are one of our newer members here of the association, of course, and we're thrilled to have you on. And not everyone just has great things to say about you guys, and it's your all story is super inspiring. One last question I always kind of like to leave folks with. Maybe someone getting into the behavioral health field, someone who's interested, but maybe doesn't know the right roadmap, or they think it might look like ABC. This is how I get to that. What would you say to someone maybe looking into the behavioral health in West Virginia? Obviously, we need help. We've made some good strides. There's a lot of addiction numbers that are starting to, overdose deaths that are starting to trend the correct way, or the great way for us. So there is momentum. There are great things happening. So hopefully, a lot of these people are seeing, because it's a tough field, and everyone knows that, and but it is a rewarding field. So maybe just something you would say to someone looking into the field that's curious. And
I'm always going to recommend social work.
Of course.
There's a direct path from state to marshal, BSW to MSW. Counseling isn't a terrible option as either. Those two are going to be, I think, your most just direct paths to the helping world. Social work is going to open the door a little bit more for things outside of counseling and therapy. So, Chris was talking about some of the things we do, like helping get groceries and diapers and, those sorts of things. So social work is going to open those doors a little bit more. But counseling is also a great program. But social work, I think, is the best route to go when people are talking about getting into mental health. Of course, we have, psychiatrists and psychiatry and psychology and testing and assessments and things that are also very important, but boots on the ground, which is sort of my preference.
That's what,
is going to be social work.
Yeah. Involved.
I'm not a social worker. I'm not a clinician. But I truly I think we all want to help people at heart. Right. And so for me, when I see someone who has, like myself, I have a daggone public policy degree and in an MBA. For me though, degrees aside, it's about where your heart's at, and it's about are you willing, if it came down to it, to give a shirt off of your back to someone in need, right? Like, are you willing to, if it came down to it, taking a moment to check on someone who may be in need of simply having someone listen to where they're at. And I think that's the piece, is like, to heck with a degree, to heck with, your clinical experience. When it comes down to it, do you believe that we are put here to help other people? And if that is the case, then there is a place in behavioral health for you, right?
Perfectly put. Yeah. I mean, it's a calling, and if if you have the passion for it, it's that's
and
there.
look, we are an agency that is fast growing. I mean, we have folks that, we have roles in HR. We just created this beautiful brand new role to help us in our review and auditing and surveying process. It's an auditor that simply audits personnel in client files, and like, that is not a historically clinical job, right? But for us, people are finding passion in being able to make sure that we don't miss things. And so I think there's a lot of avenues and ways to get into the helping industry, and it's just a matter of whether folks are willing to say, like, look, I'm not really in this for myself anymore. I'm in this to help my community. And when that becomes the case, you'll find it.
It all kind of it aligns itself naturally, almost in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you guys so much. You all built a great thing, and we're happy to have you. And thanks so much for coming on and talking to us today, and let everybody know a little bit more about Mountain Care Network. So
thank you.
All right, guys.
It's been really good. Thanks.
Thank you.